Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Lucky Duck Decoys. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
Oh, that is right. It is a beautiful day here in Texas, wearing shorts and T-shirt. Anyway, on the line with us today, man that I am very, very excited to talk to. I'm glad we could finally get a time and date down. Mr. Shad Friend from BDR Crime and Bio Cleanup. Did I get that right?
Yep.
I got it? Good. So, where do you even get into this sort line of work?
This line of work I got into, I was doing insurance claims, fires and floods, and I worked with, quite a few adjusters. And this one particular adjuster that I was working with one day, he had a kid that had committed suicide, and he's really, he's pretty just vulgar and direct. He's several tours of duty, in Afghanistan and Iraq. So he was just really direct. He's like, oh, have you ever done crime scene cleanup or anything? I said, no. He said, well, you need to go do whatever you need to do to get into that. I was like, well, why is that? And he said, oh, Johnny went to grandma's house and stuck a fucking shotgun in his mouth and his brains are all over the wall. I was like, oh, gross. So that right there kind of ignited, he said there's a need for it. And not a lot of people do it because they just can't stomach it. So a little further research and I had a property management company in Springfield. I still have it, but I just don't do that anymore. I give it to my wife. I was watching the news one morning, probably a year or two later, and one of the properties that we'd rented out for this particular property owner, someone had committed suicide. It was on the news. I saw the address. I called the property owner, and I said, insurance pays for this, and he said, oh yeah. I said, yeah, and I said, you file a claim and I'll take care of it. And then that's how I got into it.
You've got to have the strongest stomach.
Well, in this line of work, yeah, you do. It's a lot different than a dead animal smell, I'll tell you that.
I can only imagine so.
I just can't do the stomach stuff as much as just all the stuff that you actually have got to see. I can't imagine picking up human brain matter. Not just the smell, just the thought of that. That's got to be tough.
Well, once again, this probably sounds a little bit crude too, but when I first started into this, a buddy of mine is a mortician, and he has a funeral home down about 60 miles down the road. And I stopped by and talked to Jim Ed, and he said, when you start mortician school, his guy asked them if they'd ever hunted, and pretty much you had to have the same mind concept as you do when you're, field dressing a deer or whatever. And in all honesty, this is the honest to God truth, okay? When it comes to field dressing a deer and me having to stick my hands up into a warm carcass and pull its guts and heart and lungs and everything out, that is way, way, way worse to me than... Hold on a second. Okay, go. Sorry.
You're good.
My kids are out hanging up Christmas lights right now.
And
they ran out of
smart
things
man.
to do. It's
Smart guy.
1,000 Christmas lights out here.
Right. Yeah. Get the kids on that.
Anyways, that to me is worse than walking into a room with, the worst on the walls, brains, whatever, honestly.
What? Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the energy of the place. You know what I mean? Like where somebody was so depressed or whatever to stick a shotgun in their mouth and then pull the trigger. Just that whole aura of walking through the door and feeling that heavy energy.
Oh, yeah, it's there. I mean, you know, and it's definitely there. But it's just, I would say there's a lot of places that people die in that you never know it, so it's just part of it.
What's have you ever had one that creeped you out? Like just you're in there by yourself and you got the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, I mean, not really. I don't think of it that way. It's never, and a lot of people think, that I should, but I just go in there, I do my job, and I leave. I don't think anything about it.
Yeah. How long does a typical one take you guys from start to finish?
Well, I mean, oh shit, that's variables, dude.
Let's go with the guy that
a
shot
gunshot
himself.
blast to the head.
Yeah,
was it if it was a gunshot blast to the head, was it a 22, a 9mm, a 45, or a shotgun, or a 6.5 Creedmoor? Was it a decomp? How many days were they there? I mean, what do you want? Which one of those would you like to know how long?
Let's go with the kid that committed suicide.
Mouth is an ugly one. I'll tell you that right now. That's probably, beside it and a 12 gauge with double op buckshot. Those are probably two of the worst, that I've seen as far as traumatic gunshot wounds to the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one. We did one, and it blew this dude's eye plumb out of his socket. Okay, I wish I find my phone here. I'd show you a picture of this shit. But we found it inside of the closet.
Oh my God!
To collar. I mean, completely out his head and around the room and into the closet on a shirt collar. I mean, this is crazy shit, dude. I mean, it exploded his head.
Jeez.
Right in front of, he done it right in front of his mother, man. He had Huntington's disease, and his mom had been taking care of him for like 10 years. And she told me she had a house in 10 years, But he did it right in front of his mom. She was going to put him in a nursing home the next day. And his dad had Huntington's disease. His grandpa had it. His uncle had it. He knew that death and what it was. And he didn't go to the nursing home the next day. I know that.
Yeah. What is Huntington's disease?
It's like a mixture of, the best I was described by the mom. It's like Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer, and Parkinson's all in one.
I don't know that I blame the kid.
No, that's terrible. God, that's
Yeah, he was like probably early 50s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, early 50s. But his mom had been. Yeah, she said that she hadn't left the house in 10 years. And after I'd done this for this lady, and I took this lady out on a date to this really fancy restaurant. I told my wife I'm taking a 77-year-old lady out on a date tonight. She hadn't been out of her house in 10 years. And I went and picked her up, took her to this really fancy restaurant. And, first time she'd been anywhere besides the grocery store in 10 years.
Jesus. So where do you even start on something like that? Do you start with cleaning like right where it happened?
Oh, well, you've got to, but in that situation right there, I mean, everything in that room comes out and pretty much goes into bio boxes. Anything that blood or bodily fluids touches, it goes into bio boxes. In that room right there, I think it went into about 48 bio boxes because you grid the wall out too. You take a roto zip, you cut the wall in pieces about this big by this big, so it goes down in bio boxes. You cut the wall, ceiling, suck the insulation out of the ceiling. I mean, yeah.
And then you just start there, and then just go as far as the blood goes or whatever. And then,
well, you take all the contents out first. Get all the contents out. Then you just start with, the floor and work your way up to the ceiling.
Now, when did you start this TikTok channel? Because that's how I found you. The first one, I think it was the beer can guy.
Oh man, the Coors Light apocalypse. Okay, here's the deal. People have been telling me for a long time, and if I had some of the other jobs on TikTok, I mean, shit, I'd had, millions and millions of views. I just started TikTok like maybe the last week of July or the first week of August. It was somewhere in that area. And my third video was that Coors Light can video. When I walked into that house, and I really thought that the house I was working on, because there was like 38 dead dogs in this house. An American family called me, and when I walked into this house, I was like, you really want to try to save this house? Are you joking? And I thought if anything was going to go viral, it would be that one. But we got to this other house, and there was, after it was all taken out, we pulled 89 pounds of empty Coors Light cans out of this home.
Jesus Christ.
If you watch that video, out of all of the beer cans in that video, only 4 of them had beer in them. It's true, man. This is a true story. And that dude right there, believe it or not, he had almost $1 million in his bank account, and he was a fighter jet pilot.
What?
Okay, I mean, he wasn't an idiot and he wasn't poor. He was someone that had some issues, and it's a sad deal because no one checked on that guy, man. I bet you that there was 2 foot of Amazon packages outside of that house, and the Amazon delivery driver, in my opinion, needs her ass kicked,
Right.
Because he was ordering so much shit from Amazon. Jeff Bezos himself should have called him. Be like, hey, man, we noticed that he hadn't ordered anything in a couple of months. I mean, I'm serious. This dude had so much shit.
You'd figure
he had really nice shit.
Either Jeff Bezos or Coors would have checked in on him if he's got that much Coors in there.
Exactly. I mean, one of the two should have checked in on this guy. The last time I was told that his debit card was used, I was like April 23rd or 25th, somewhere like that. And I think that they found him the first week of July.
Oof.
Oh.
So that's how long the mail piled up. That's how long the Amazon packages piled up. And no one said a word.
Now, was he a suicide, or did he just die from drinking?
Man, he had a GI bleed for sure, because you could just tell by
the toilet,
the amount of the toilet, the bed, the toilet, where he sit at on the couch. I mean, there was this shit everywhere.
How old was the guy?
I don't know. Maybe late 60s, early 70s.
What a miserable way to go.
And a fighter jet pilot. And I mean, a guy that, just
I think
you wouldn't think of that.
Seems like I found a yearbook. I don't know if it was his senior year. Could have been. It was 1976. But it was definitely a high school yearbook.
Right. And your poor son, has he come, he was on toilet patrol in the video. Finding too many cell phones.
Yeah. He had to clean that stool and throw it away.
I mean,
we couldn't put that in the toilet dirty or the trash dirty, man. I mean, yeah.
If you're my dad and I see what job you have, I'm walking a straight line.
They're putting Christmas lights up right now, and then like my roof is high.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is going to be from a financial standpoint. What's it cost to do a house cleanup? For I'm assuming insurance companies do it, or is this all on real estate companies? Who does this? Pays for this?
The insurance companies. Yeah. The insurance companies pays us, and those all depend too. I mean, it costs a lot. Especially it costs a lot to have one stop smelling like dead body. I mean, tens of thousands. Up around, 1,000 square foot and up, it gets into the tens of thousands of dollars pretty quick.
What
Everything in the place goes, as you saw in the videos. That smell absorbs into everything in there, and there's some companies that go out there, okay, like ServPro or Service Master, and they'll try to just do the source area because that's what the insurance company wants. But your policy pays to have that whole place stop smelling like dead body. And those companies are working for the insurance companies, to the best of my knowledge, you know. And I've had to go back behind them before from property owners that could still overwhelmingly smell dead body. I mean, I showed up after one of those companies left one time in a town about 3 hours away from here, and you could still smell the dead body before the front door was opened, and they just told these people, oh, it'll air out or whatever. That's not the way you do it.
No, it's soaked in everywhere.
You know,
What's the
yeah, they didn't. I'll tell you what they did, man. The dude, I don't know if he fell down the steps or what, but his head laid on the first step and he decomped there. And they didn't even pull the wooden step off, and you could still see where his head mark was.
Oh.
Where his, you know, yeah. I mean, there was a brown stain where his head had rotted around. They didn't take it out. They just told him that they could just have that sanded down.
what is the
Yeah.
What's the key to getting the smell out of a house?
Is it keels?
Removing everything that is porous.
Oh,
You know, talking all the trim, doors, cabinets, take all that out. You know, you got to run equipment, and then you oil-based seal. To get that smell out, you can't really, and this is just from my experience. You know, there might be some people out there going, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is from my experience. Okay. You have to seal that smell in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's no really getting it out because it's going to come back. But if you take like an oil-based sealant, like I use oil-based kills, and I seal everything that I don't tear out. And most of the time, it's just the only thing that's left is all the sheetrock and the subfloor. And I start from the farthest end of that house, and it's sealing walls, floor, all the way out the front door.
yeah. We did, my uncle and I, we had a little remodeling company here for a while, and we had a couple like smokers' houses and stuff like that. And we redid one that a fire had broken out, but I don't know how much keels we went through just to even like just try to mask. And that's just smoke. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine a dead body sitting there for a couple months.
Smoke's worse than dead body.
Is it? Okay.
I know.
Well, then that makes me
yeah,
feel
I bought
better.
a house up here on the north side of town in Springfield, and a dude smoked heavily in this one. There was 2 living rooms in this house, and he smoked. You could see where his desk was and all this stuff. And I sprayed the walls with TSP, and it just ran off the walls. And it took. I thought I was going to be able to seal it with just regular latex kills. It took 3 coats of latex, and when I would still hit it, it would just fall off the walls. It's this brownish, you know, and it took 3 coats of that, and I think 4 coats after I figured out that the latex wasn't going to work of oil base before I finally got that to cover. I mean, smoke it's it's way worse than dead body.
Okay.
Honestly, when it comes to try to mitigate that. I mean, a dead body, it's got the smell there, but it doesn't have the nicotine resin on the walls that as soon as the liquid hits it, it just, you know,
Right.
starts coming off the walls.
Yeah, we had some friends of ours. They bought a house, and the lady and husband both smoked in there for however long they lived there, 50 years or whatever. And I think they had 4 coats of keels on there, and like you could just still see that yellow seeping through it. And I don't know, I don't know if they use latex or oil base, but what is it about the oil base that seems to work better?
Well, oil, I mean, it's oil based. It's not water based. You know, I mean, that's, if you really want to seal it, you use oil based anything.
Okay.
You know, and same way with even trim or anything like that, you know, lacquer, whatever. I personally am always going to use oil based if I want it to last, especially when it comes to any kind of a sealant.
Right.
Have you ever had family members come to the house after? I'm assuming if you're not there, like a day or 2 after they find the body, are you?
Sometimes I'm there hours later.
Oh, wow. So have you had family ever come to a house when you were in there?
Oh yeah. 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 Like, I got a call, about 3 weeks ago, I guess it was, town outside of Oklahoma City. And, son had committed suicide in the mom's house. And we got there, left here in Springfield. I don't know, it was probably about 5 o'clock in the evening, got to where we was at about 9:30 that night. And, the whole family was there. And I told the sister that was there, I said, listen, your insurance pays for you to be somewhere else right now. If your house, is unable for you to be here, and I'm telling you that you can't be at your house right now, and you can go get a hotel, keep your receipts, I'll pay for it, send it to the insurance company. You send it to the insurance company, whatever you want to do, keep track of your meals, because it's very important that you get your mother out of this house right now, because what she's seen is traumatic. But what she's going to see whenever we suit up and there's 3 guys coming in and out of a room and cutting stuff up and you're in Tyvek suits and full blown bio gear, it's going to be more traumatic, So we got her in a hotel room and did our job. But yeah, there's people there a lot. Kids, moms,
I didn't know that insurance companies would pay for this service.
Suicide.
I didn't know that insurance would pay for this service. That's one of those things that's kind of hidden in there.
Most people don't. Yeah, most people don't. And most law enforcement don't. Most first responders don't know. They don't know, hey, and the ones that do, they say, call your insurance company, and I'm going to tell you something. That is the last thing that you want to do. You want to call me so I can call your insurance company for you, because insurance companies, especially in these times, man, in jobs like this right here, they get really big. The bill does really, really fast. I mean, really fast. And it's very important, that they don't ever see that bill, because if they see that bill, the insurance company will try to make them believe that, oh, well, if we don't pay all this, then you're responsible for it. And that's just not, always the case. So I have them sign one of our contracts, as well as it's a limited power of attorney form that my attorneys wrote up for me, that gives me a power of attorney for them on that claim and that claim number. That's why it's limited. I can't go to the bank and withdraw their money and shit like that, but it is limited to that claim policy number and that claim number. And that way the insurance company adjusters have to deal with me.
Yeah, because my dealings with insurance companies, it's never easy.
No, and it hadn't been, like you said, it hadn't been good the last couple of months.
No. I mean, insurance is like one of those things like, Latin or something. Those people speak their own language. And if you don't know, and once they figure out that you don't know how to speak their language, they will chew you up and spit you out, but they will pat you on the back the whole time and make you feel really good about it. You'll be like, no, my insurance adjuster, he was great. No, he wasn't. I guarantee you got screwed out of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that you were unaware of.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a tornado rip through our town. It didn't ever touch down, but it did quite a bit of damage. So Jeff has been haggling with insurance basically since April, and here it is, October still.
I had my guy done he did do me a favor, because I had tornado damage and I have a metal roof, and the metal roof doesn't cover cosmetic damage, and he got it written down as tornadic debris damage, and he did help me. But it took forever. It took me 10 weeks to get, and I'm thinking, what if I was one of these families that was displaced? Mm-hmm. Can't wait 10 weeks to find out you can live in your car for 10 weeks.
Was it State Farm?
No, it was Allstate. But they're all the same.
Oh, well.
I mean, every one of them's the same.
There's some that's worse than others, And
if you live in California, they just cut your policy.
Yeah.
But I did not know that if someone killed themselves in your house, that they would pay to get everything cleaned up and stuff. And but I also don't ever read my policy. I trust my insurance agent.
There's your first fuck up.
Yeah.
Right.
But I would have never thought that if someone blows their brains out in your house, that they'll pay to get it all. Or a lot of people that have done this are old widows or widowers or just old people by themselves, and they've got an insurance policy, and their family members don't expect that. They just call Serve Pro or what's the other one, and they just come out and clean it up pretty much. And well,
Service master.
yeah, you just gonna have a little funk in the house when you sell it and be the end of it.
Smell like blue cheese.
I think real estate agents have to disclose.
I'll tell you what, we actually tested. Okay, this is great. This just happened on our last job. So I knew this was a State Farm job that we was doing, and State Farm. I love calling them and cussing them because it usually takes them about 6 months to pay me. I'll be like, "You got money to pay Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? Damn it, Shad Friend needs paid."
Right.
And I mean, I really get up in there. But I knew that State Farm, we was doing a decomp, okay, which is an unattended death. Let me rephrase that. And of course, they wanted us to bring Serve Pro out. Well, this lady comes out from Serve Pro, and once again, in a decomp situation, especially this one, I mean, it wasn't just a decomp; it was a hoarder decomp that had pets feeding on the body. Okay, this is what I call the trifecta in my business. Okay, this is the worst of the worst that it can get as far as an unattended death goes. All right, and she comes out and she looks around, and I have one of my dudes, because I've got my form signed with the family members, and I have one of my guys pretend like he is the grieving family member. So this chick comes out and immediately, "Oh, we'll just take this, put a lockbox on the door, da 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 da," and she was like, "Are you guys planning on selling this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I think the family's wanting to sell it." And she said, "Well, what we'll do is we'll take the stuff out and clean this area, and nobody will know." So it went from like it never happened to nobody will know. Okay, they didn't, they wasn't going to gut it. They wasn't going to do anything that really need. I mean, the other thing about those decomps, okay, is the flies. The flies are going to the source. They're feeding and they're landing all over the structure. Once again, this is why everything needs to come out of there, because the entire structure inside of the structure is a biohazard. All right. So then we call aftermath out there, and they show up in a rented U-Haul. All right. And this chick gets out of there. The little skinny black dude gets out. He's one of the people that is dealing with my guy. And then this chick gets out with green hair and a bull nose ring. And I'm thinking, did they really just show up in a rented U-Haul with a nose ring and green hair? Because in my opinion, you need to be like the funeral home director on the dude. Right. You're dressed nice. You're very professional. Green hair and a bull nose ring. I don't think that you would want this showing up if your mother had just shot herself or any type of traumatic situation. This is not what you would want to show up. I don't feel.
No.
Maybe I'm a little old. I am a Generation Xer.
A little bit of professionalism goes a long way on these things.
It really
just
does.
a smidge. You don't have to, you don't have to be dressed like James Bond or anything, but just be a little bit put together.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't believe what I saw there.
Where does how hard is cat piss to get out of a house?
Cat piss? Yeah. Oh man, it stinks. I mean, it's one of those things that's really hard to get out, and if it's been there in the same spot a while, might as well just cut it out.
Great.
I mean, once it absorbs it in, it's
perfect. I'm thinking about buying a house close to me, and it was a cat lady. And does
it have that stench in it?
That smells pretty.
Oh, oof, you'll never get rid of that shit.
No.
That'll even get soaked into the concrete, don't it? That'll even get into the concrete, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, you guys don't have subfloors down there. You have concrete.
A lot of places.
I done a lot of work in Hurricane Harvey down there, and you guys have different.
Well, we have pier and beam, and we have concrete both. But won't cat piss soak in and get soaked up by the concrete too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure will. I mean, you have to seal the concrete. I guess if you wanted to get the smell of cat piss out, you just have to kind of do it like anything else. You have to gut the whole thing, figure out where the source is, and treat the source, whether cut it out or cover it with an oil-based sealant. One of those two things.
Well, this sounds like a cheap little fixer-upper I just got myself into.
Did you buy that house?
No, but I mean, it's on the radar.
Well, I'd be figuring out it's pier and beam house too, isn't it? It's an older house.
The living room is
concrete,
closed-in garage, so it'll be concrete.
And then the rest of it's pier and beam.
I'm assuming.
Well, you got a lot of work ahead of you. You get something to do this summer.
Perfect.
What's the?
Can't wait.
Have you ever done a mass murder? Have you ever had to clean up after one of them?
Multiple bodies.
I mean, I did a murder-suicide just the other day. I've done several murder-suicides.
What's the most?
Yeah, it was with a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
It was with a crossbow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Murder-suicide. Yeah. And actually, it was with a pistol crossbow, which made they told me it was a crossbow at first. And then when I got there, I realized by the rest of the arrows on the table that it was like one of those pistol crossbows with arrows about this big. That it was an agreed upon murder-suicide.
What?
She wrote the letter. Yeah, she wrote the letter. And like when I first got this call, I thought, oh shit, murder-suicide with a crossbow. And I get here and I could clearly see old people lived here because there was a walker. And I was like, did Paul just come in here with a walker in one hand and a crossbow in the other? And mom didn't think anything of it, but no, he had been diagnosed with some type of illness and terminal illness, and she didn't want to live without him. And yeah, then it went to more like that Pulp Fiction scene. They draw a circle in the heart, you got to stab him in the heart to get the adrenaline. I wonder if that's what they did. All right, honey, you got to hit me right here. Goddamn, it's going to hurt if you don't.
Wow. We a friend of ours,
it's like a
she was
Romeo
on
and Juliet story. Only I would have taken the poison, without a doubt. Just drink the poison.
Give me sleeping pills. Don't give me the crossbow.
Yeah, the pistol crossbow in the heart. Ow.
We have a friend of ours. She's in her 20s, and she was on a dating site one time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going with this.
She was on a dating site one time and matched with this guy on Bumble or whatever. And their first date is at the Waffle House at like midnight, which, probably red flag number one. You're going to Waffle House at midnight for your first date. So anyway, she says everything's going great. Like he's engaging and funny and, kind of attractive and everything's going great. And then he lays this on her. He said, I've got the perfect love story. He said, my grandparents were both old and they decided that they did not want to live together without the other one. So my grandfather shot my grandmother and then he killed himself. And he's like, that is the kind of love story that I want in my life. And she immediately is like, check please, and blocked everything. And so anyway, evidently it happens.
Yeah, wise choice.
Yeah,
probably a wise choice.
But yeah, if you match on Bumble at midnight and go to Waffle House, just be prepared for a little bit of a fucked up story.
Have you had the grieving family member that's come in on you that's just horribly upset? Does that happen all the time too then?
Oh yeah. You have and then you have the ones that are just, man, you see the worst of the worst, whenever it comes to what people do sometimes. I mean, really. You have some of them that are just there for the guns or whatever, oh yeah, it's like they've been waiting for him to die. Well, the guns are mine.
Sadly, that's the damn truth, though. A lot of them.
So what do you have to do in that situation? Just tell them, no, hold on, slow down. We gotta. This will go through like mediation or whatever. Don't just start taking shit.
Well, I had one brother that just like this bedroom had to be gutted, and his brother had shot himself in there, and all he was worried about was the guns the whole time. And after we had cleaned everything out of the bedroom, and I told the brother, man, everything's out of here. There's nothing left in here. He didn't believe me. And he said, no, there's guns in there. I know there's guns in there. And so I said, okay, well, everything's out of the bedroom, but I'm just warning you, everything is still on the walls, and it's still really, really bad in there. And I'm going to suggest that you don't go in there. And he went in there anyway and looked into the empty bedroom with nothing there. And I handed him a pawn receipt that I'd also found on the dresser. And that's when he realized, before his brother died, he went and pawned all his guns. So his brother was even super pissed off then. Not only his brother committed suicide, but that he had pawned all of his guns before he done it.
What have you ever found a big chunk of money?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't found a big chunk of money. We find a lot of stuff, and give it to the family members, but most of the stuff in decomps and things like that goes in dumpsters, man. You wouldn't believe the tens of thousands of dollars of stuff that I throw away: couches, flat screen TVs, stereo. I mean, so much stuff that you would not believe that it goes in dumpsters, because there's not, it's, I tell the family members, if you want the stuff, you can have it, but you're probably not going to get the smell out of it.
Right. What's the longest that somebody's been sitting there on a decomp that you know of?
Man, I'd say that one up there on TikTok is probably going to be getting close. I mean, that went from April till July.
Ooh.
And I really can't think of another one that we've done that was that long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It went a couple of months before, but that from April to July, I can't think of any that's went that long.
What is left?
There's some of them,
What's left
Do
of
what?
what's left of a human body after that many months just sitting there?
Well, that particular one up there, the Coors Light one, that guy right there was probably 170, 180 pound guy, I guess. And the coroner said he took out 70 pounds of, remains.
Just bones.
It's just got to be just something like
Pretty
soup,
much.
basically, almost. Any flesh that was there and muscle.
Well, in the courses that you take, one of the things that they call that is hair soup. Yeah, that's one of the ways that they. Yeah, it's really. Yeah, that's kind of, and I've been to a couple of them. Like, you'll like mummify, which that's a lot better than sapotify. And I didn't know what this was until I went to the first one. But when someone sapotifies, it's a lot different. Like, it's gross.
Yeah,
Like it's really gross.
The first decomp that you do, are you like, what the fuck have I gotten into?
Yeah, I did. I really was. Because even in the courses that I took to learn more about this shit, they didn't really mention anything on what to do with decomps. I even think they might have even said, we'll cover that in a different portion. And I never got that other portion. I don't know, but no, yes, at first, that's exactly. I was like, what in the hell have I got myself into? Jiminy Christmas. This is bad. And like, we was way up in northern Missouri on this one. And this is when we also found out. I mean, we found out so much on this job. Like, maybe it's better to just wear our underwear under our Tyvek suits, because when you're in these houses, your shirt starts stinking. And I know when we walked into the Marriott that evening, those people probably wondered, where in the hell have these people been and why do they stink like this? Yeah. So I started stripping down my underwear.
I don't mind
wearing shirts I can throw away.
Yeah, it's got to just get. It's got to just get. Everywhere. into your nose.
That would definitely be a better winter job than summer
Oh,
job.
100%. Yeah, give me all the ones from December to March.
Yeah. Yeah, those are never as bad as the May to September's.
And you'll travel anywhere? Like how far will you go?
Well, I would probably travel at least 6 to 8, 10 hours away. I mean, there's a company from Colorado that comes to Missouri to do jobs. So, if they're willing to drive that far, I would too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many different companies are there out there that do this?
I know of probably 3 or 4 that just do crime and trauma scene cleanup. Now, ServPro and Service Master, I mean, they kind of do a little bit of everything, fire, whatever. But as far as companies that actually specialize in it, I know of, 3 or 4 companies that are all nationwide companies. There's no one in this area that is locally owned like myself that does it. All the other companies that specialize in this are all nationwide companies except for mine.
Mm-hmm.
How long does the average job take to be done? I know they're all different, but what's an average?
Let's do the one where the kid shot himself first.
What am I doing?
Shotgun blast to the head, and you got there. Yeah, they found him after 2 days. Didn't even go a week.
What size of what was
12
it?
gauge.
Was it a bedroom? Was it in a hallway? Was it in a living room?
It was on the couch. He was watching football, got pissed off at his favorite football team, took a 12 gauge shotgun with buckshot, took the top of his head off.
Probably about 4 or 5 days.
Oh, that's not.
Because you're going to have to, the shotgun blast, there's going to be a lot of spatter, and you're going to take everything, out as far as sheetrock wise goes. And, you're going to spend probably a half a day or better up in the attic, sucking all the insulation out before you drop that ceiling out of there. And so, it's going to take 4 or 5 days.
Now, will you put the sheetrock back up, or do you just leave it down to the studs for whoever is coming in to do all that shit?
Here around the Springfield area, I've been in construction for a long time, and I have a property management company here that I give all that stuff to my wife, but we still have our crews and stuff, that do work for us and work for me. So stuff here locally, I can help people put back together. But when I get, an hour and a half outside of Springfield, most of the time, the flooring's going to come out, so I will tell the people, and I'll also write a scope for them usually, which that's what the insurance company wants. They want a scope written and Xactimate. So most of the time I'll draw the sketch and stuff and say here, or I'll send it to their adjuster so they know what they're going to be getting paid on the rebuild. But I'll just tell them to get a local flooring company, have them come out here and give them a bid. And most of the time your flooring company is going to know a trim person, because they're having to put trim back and forth on. And the trim person is usually either a painter or he knows a painter, because, that's usually how I tell them to try to get it built back together.
Right. But if it's a couple hours,
that's really all I can do.
Yeah.
Because I'm so far away, I don't, and even these here local, I have time to put them back together. Just time to put them back together.
Right. So what do you have to do with all of the bodily remains? I mean, is there a place at the police station that you take them to? How do you dispose of it?
We have a contract with a company out of Arkansas, and they bio guy comes through once a week, once every other week. We meet up with him and drop our boxes off, and he gives us empty ones, and they take care of all that. I mean, it's down in Arkansas. Who knows what they're doing with it? They might be roasting hot dogs over it.
Yeah, there's no.
I don't know what happened after it leaves me, man.
Yeah, it's somebody else's problem after that. Now there was one on TikTok that it looked like it was hair on the baseboards. Do you know which one I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I think that is. Yeah, that one's got over 2 million views. Yeah, I know which one it is. And that is, I think that's hair right there. See, that's most of the time what happens whenever you decomp is your scalp slides off. And that's very common. You know, if you're there a while, it just kind of slides right off your skull.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now. Is it the Coors Light one? Because the Coors Light one also has 2.9 million views.
No, it's the one that says decomp on the front of it, probably.
Oh, the $2.2 million one. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what happened there?
That was the best.
They just laid there and died?
He died there, and no one found him for 6 days. And whenever we quarantined, they told me that he popped.
Good Lord, he popped?
Yeah. That's what they said.
My question is, why the hell is he sleeping on the floor?
Probably because he was poor, I guess.
But
I'm sure it wasn't
he's in an apartment. You figure he had something in
a
there.
choice. Who knows?
And it looks like
that's the other thing that they teach you in the classes I took. My job's not to play junior detective; it's to clean this stuff up. Man, that's the first thing some of my guys do. Man, well, look at this right here. Why is this bullet hole here? How these teeth get over here? You know, I mean, yeah, they're trying to play junior detective all the time. I'm like, stop. It's the madness.
Right. Yeah, we're here for a specific job. Just start ripping shit out, kid. I guess. Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at his apartment, and like he's got 2 chairs basically, and they're just those fold out chairs. So yeah, he probably just didn't have much.
Yeah. Right.
How long did that job take? Do you remember?
We ended up not doing that one. I don't know what happened with that one.
You got a video out of the deal, so that's not too bad.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, I told the apartment manager there, she called, and we was probably about 14 or 15 miles from that place working on another one. I said, well, I happen to be right down the road. I said, if you want to, you can watch it on TikTok, and I'll show it to you and what's going on up there. And she said, okay. And, yeah, I don't know if they got their own maintenance people. I really have no idea.
Could you imagine being the maintenance
No
guy
idea.
on that
No,
deal?
hell no. I'd imagine quitting my job.
Fuck that. I'm going somewhere else, buddy.
There's no way.
You know, I mean, because and here's the deal, man. I mean, there's some property management companies out there that might not want, the people that own those property might not want to file a claim because they don't want to file a claim, and they might just send their own people in there. I'm sure it happens all the time, you know.
Fuck that. I ain't doing it.
No,
I just tell them.
Hey, Joe, the pool will have a choice.
There's another apartment complex right down the road that's probably hiring, and that's where I am now going to try to be employed. Because I'm not doing that for minimum wage.
No, I'm not doing it at all.
No?
I got a weak stomach. Fuck no, I couldn't do that.
Do you smell anything through all the mask and everything? Or does that kind of block it out? Or do you put like Vicks or anything under your nose to help with the smell?
Shit, yeah, man, I smell $100 bills.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the way I look at
it. No, I usually just take Vicks, like on these and you do kind of, it depends, but I'll usually just wipe I don't put it underneath my nose. I found out that makes my nose run more. And I'll usually just wipe the border of my respirator. And it also helps it stick to your face a little better, and it blocks that smell better than just putting it underneath your nose, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the flies and shit? Do you usually leave a door open for a little bit and try to get all the flies out of there?
Oh no, you put ozone machines in there for overnight, and they'll still keep hatching, but an ozone machine, it'll kill everything. Plants, if you leave a plant in a room with an ozone machine on too long, it'll kill a plant.
What's an ozone machine?
You just turn it ozone. It's a machine that helps with odor. And
does it iodize the room?
I'm not sure exactly.
Does it iodize the room?
Iodize?
Kind of, yeah. And you can't be in there, otherwise it'll burn your sinuses up. Yeah, but it'll kill everything in there.
Huh.
We put it in there for smell.
What's a machine like that cost?
I have 3 of them that were $1,200 a piece, and I have one of them that was a little over $4,000. But the one that was around $4,000 is 4 of the ones that I paid $1,200 a piece for. So,
right. So, how far are you booked out, or is this just whenever it pops up, you go and do it?
Whenever it pops up, we go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure that there's a claim, an insurance claim, and it's not a full-time job. That's why, it's a great job for retired, first responders or, retired vets. I mean, people that don't need a full-time job and,
yeah, whenever something pops up, you can just go do it real quick, work a while, and then.
It's not like you're gonna make reservations like grandma's gonna die in 6 months.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, like if somebody, you can't just fucking wait.
No.
You know what I mean? You got a dead body in there. It's like you got to get going with this shit.
Have you ever had the type fucker that wants to get a quote or an estimate on this shit? I think we lost him.
Uh-oh. Might have lost him.
Interesting man. Gosh almighty. Oof.
Another way to make a living.
Couldn't do it. That's thinking outside the box.
Can you hear us? Anybody? Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
Okay. I lost you for a second. I don't know what happened.
There's no telling.
Have you ever had anybody call you out and get an estimate on what it's going to be and just say, fuck it, I'm not doing this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had that happen just the other day.
That's funny.
It was a rental. It was a rental property property. And what I tell these people is I don't give bids. I bill insurance companies. Okay. I'm not driving 3 hours to give you a bid. I'm driving 3 hours to do the job. And if you're needing a bid on that job, then you're looking for the wrong guy. I'm coming there to do the job, but just the other day right here in Springfield, they wanted me to come over. And actually she told me she wanted me to do the property. And once I got there and had a dumpster delivered, she sent me another, we want to bid on it. And I gave her a basic, okay, it's a suicide in a 1-bedroom. It's going to be anywhere from this to this. And the next thing I know, the property owner, he's got his own people doing it. Once again, I'm sure that he sent somebody over that he knew and didn't file an insurance claim. And that just, that probably happens a lot. But the decomps, in all honesty, it probably sounds bad, but a lot of these deals, when people die in these places and they was like a hoarder or whatever, and the next of kin inherits this house or, it's their house. The best thing that could have happened is that person to have died in that house if they were a hoarder, because insurance is going to pay to have everything in that house taken out. Whereas if that person would have died in a car wreck outside of the house, the family members would have been responsible for, making that house livable again. And so they could sell it or whatever they wanted to do with it.
Shit, I never even thought about that. If old Jim Bob, the Uncle Hoarder,
dies at home.
Yeah.
That's better off.
Fuck yeah. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Talk him into killing himself.
And then you get everything brand new.
Yeah, no shit.
You get everything brand new. Cabinets, floors, everything. Yeah, you get it all brand new. Trim, doors, all of it.
And most people don't even know this.
Appliances.
Uh-uh.
No, people don't know this.
I'll be damned.
it's an educational video.
Yeah, exactly. Get your insurance company. They're gonna act like they don't know what you're talking about, but deep down they know.
Drag him out of that car wreck and take him home and let him die in the house.
Let him sit there for a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to bleed to death.
Yeah.
Get him home real fast. Yeah, put him on the sofa.
Yeah.
Check on him in a month.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm telling you, I've had to explain that to many family members and be like, I know this is a really bad deal. I'm really sorry, for your loss, but in all actuality, this is, and even property owners, that this has happened to in their rental property, hey, this is a really bad deal, but the good news is you're going to get it all brand new.
You hit the lottery.
Sounds pretty good, right?
He died and you hit the lotto.
Yeah.
has there been a job that has bothered you whenever you got home and away from it?
Yeah, it was. It was a job I did first week of school last year. It was the first day of school over town outside of Springfield, over in Nixa, and got a call from a grieving mother that her son had shot himself before school. It was because his girlfriend had broke up with him and whatever the case is. So anyways, when we go there, the she's there. This is a 15-year-old child. And, well, in order to mitigate the problem, everything has to come out. As any 15-year-old bedroom, this bedroom has an identity.
Yeah.
It has his name on the wall. It has his pictures, his school friends, his sports heroes. It's got an identity. And when I left there that day or the next day, we had to tear the carpet out and paint all the walls, which means everything come out, the bed, everything come out. I remember shutting that bedroom when I left that day, and looking around in there. And when I got home that evening, my son, also 15, and I looked at his bedroom as he was asleep in bed, and I looked down at him, thinking to myself that the mother was looking in her child's bedroom, and I had erased her child from that bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered how she felt and what she was thinking as she was, because I knew she was standing there right in the doorway with her arm on the door, just like I was standing in the doorway with my arm on the door, staring at my child. She was staring at her child's bedroom that had been erased of its identity.
That'd be tough.
Fuck. That sucks, man. That's, like you said, like so many memories and, just everything. Like you said, it's the kid's identity and it's gone now.
Right. I've erased many.
Yeah. Yeah. I got 2 young boys and I'm dreading that part of life. It ain't that big of a deal, kid. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fish out in the sea, but when you're 15 years old, you just think that the sun rises and sets on her, and a lot of bad things happen.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, I would give anything to be able to go out to these kids in Suicide Awareness Month and just hit some different schools around here and tell them my story in life. Because, my story in life, I should probably be dead or in jail right now, but here I am talking to you guys. And I like to share my story and tell these kids that, look to the left of you, look to the right of you. There's probably about a 98% chance that you're never going to see this person again. Once you get your diploma and you graduate, these 4 years don't matter in your life. That this girlfriend that you have, you're going to have 10 more. None of this shit matters, and try to, reach one kid. It's something I'd like to work on.
Yeah, because everybody just puts so much importance on high school. And, I'm not popular, or, this, that, and the other. And it's like, dude, you're going to get your diploma. You're going to go off. They're going to go off. And that's it.
If your best time in your life is your 4 years of high school, you've had a pretty miserable fucking life.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's not, it's, I'd like to talk to these kids about high school and how unimportant it really is. I dropped out of high school. So that's, high school. That's my opinion.
Yeah. But when you're 15, 16, you're not thinking past Friday night, a lot of them.
Nope.
I know. I don't think that I don't think that they understand that death is forever.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think that maybe in their mind, they think that they're going to have this one sad day and then they get to come back and that doesn't happen.
No.
I don't think that they grasp the concept of mortality.
Mm-mm. No. And, I'll show that bitch. Pow. Well,
Right.
That's the answer?
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, Shad, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. We've gone over an hour here.
Very interesting.
You got a hell of a little niche here. I'll tell you that. I don't. It's crazy that you stumbled into it, and I really look forward to watching more of your videos on TikTok. Thankfully, I have a bit of a strong stomach. I can watch it on my phone, and I'm not having to smell it. So keep up.
You need to.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, hey, man, it was good.
Y'all keep up the good
Definitely
work.
good talking to you guys. Thanks for having me. And
if anybody has a decomp they need, how do they get a hold of you? Can they just go to TikTok or what? Email you?
Go to bendavisrestoration.net, 417-860-9767, 24/7.
And you will travel. Perfect. Be safe out there.
Right.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you, and God bless you, my friend. You have a great day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
I have to compliment you on this, Andy.
What?
You went out of the box on this one. This is a
did.
very interesting guy. Very interesting. I would have never even thought about something like this. You got some weird shit you watch on your TikTok. I got to tell you
My
that.
FYP's all jacked up.
Thank you.
That just shows you that there's a bunch of ways to make money
Outside
in
of
this
the
world.
box. Yep.
A bunch of ways to make money in this world.
We're in a 1% business.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of the people in the world do what we do. He's in one less than we are.
I think he
But,
said three. There's three people that
I
he
mean,
knows about.
yeah, there's just not very many. But I mean, we're a less than 1%. Yeah. There's a million accountants, there's a million janitors, there's a million bus drivers, but there ain't very I bet you there's not. I would guess there's less than 100 of them guys doing that in the United States.
Probably.
That would be 2 per state. And a place like North Dakota and South Dakota, you're not going to stay very busy.
And you know what that means. Supply and demand.
Yep. Oh yeah, big man. He's making good money.
Supply and demand,
I
baby.
couldn't do what he does.
No.
I couldn't do it. It's very interesting though. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a great week. Thanksgiving week coming up in a couple weeks, believe it or not. Happy Turkey Day. Bye.
Watch for deer. Check out all of our great sponsors. Go check out Dirty Duck Coffee, Bull and Briar Leather, Ducks Unlimited, Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls. Use our promo code BHP25. Boss Shot Shells. Mallard Bay, Mitchell Chevrolet, Hemp Hill Farm. Use our promo code BHP. Stanfield Outfitters, MLR Graphics, Mossberg, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass, Podcast, and Shin Gear.